Welcome to the Steve Silvero Show. Well, we're here with Morton from Ahrex and Steve from Regal. We're here to promote a lot of things, but I'm here to tie a couple of flies for everybody. I'm Joe Cordeiro. I've been doing the flatwing thing for pretty much most of my life, and honestly, it's the best, in my opinion, on how to catch striped bass, bluefish, albies. Oh, by the way, all sorts of other species, because it has the wiggle. It has the motion, and the motion in the lotion and water makes everything work and come together. So today we're going to start with tying one of my favorite bloodworm patterns, the bloodworm, found on page 17 of my newly released book, Colors in the Current. Pick it on up. You will see all the recipes that I've been working on since I've been, maybe in my 30s. So you're welcome to pick that on up on my website. But today we're going to tie a couple of real quick patterns. One that's been a staple here for a long time, the bloodworm. We have a lot of bloodworms in our estuaries. I fish mostly from Cape Cod to Boston and the islands. And I'm using right here is an Ahrex 280 Minnow #1 hook. Perfect hook for this application. And I'm using a 3/0 thread, and it's orange reddish, the burnt orange reddish color. And I'm bringing my thread completely right in front of the hook point. As you can see, it lines up. That's going to be the datum line for when you start to build out any flatwing. You don't want that thread to come into where the hook point will nick the line and cut it. So what I like to do is start off with a support, and bucktail at the base always is a very good starting point for giving you support. And we're going to blend this beautiful colored bright hot orange, fire orange. I take a pinch of from the base, which is close to the deer body. I lay a little pile down. Size doesn't matter right at this point. Just grab a pinch of that hot orange and this pale orange, and I blend them together like so. I grab the tips and I keep blending them so that it becomes a muted hot orange, but it's the color of that underside of a bloodworm. So we're imitating the bait pretty much to almost a really exact color of that red blood worm that we see in the estuary. So the size of the support hackle is about 1.5 to 2x the total length of the hook. This is a size 1, as I said, an Ahrex 280. So I grab just the tips. I said the tips. Don't grab anything else but the tips. And you go about 2 times X and cut really at a very secure, sharp angle, like so. If you can see it and you put the butts right straight down, give yourself a pinch move, haul down once to haul it up. You can see the angle makes it ride up. And that's only one holding wrap. I come in over again, give it another wrap, hold it in place, and then tidy up the ends. And when I come back to that datum point, I take my thumb. Hopefully everyone has one of these. If you don't, sorry. Take your middle finger, index finger, but your thumb really works well because you hold your index finger underneath, press down, roll it slightly so that it lays flat, looks like an old witch's broom, come over the top, hold it in place, cinch down and up, and you're done. First step done. So when I make flatwing flies, everything is going to lay perpendicular to the hook. This shank is meant to hold the feather, and the selection of feather is very crucial. In this pattern, we're going to choose 3 feathers. Basically, you can ride with either a burnt claret or bright hot orange. You can really come in with your different colors that are suitable for your own estuary. Personally, I like to go with this nice burnt red or this hot orange, and I take about 2 of those that are about a little slightly longer than a 1.5 inch 1.5 times the length of the hook. And a perfect feather for flatwing is one that has this nice sword shape. I don't know if you can see it here, but it's very important. That sword shape has a little bit of webbiness, and it comes right to a nice point, like so. And what we're going to do is, you'll see in a feather, it transitions from very thick stem to a very thin stem, and that's where we're going to cut and peel away about 1/4 inch of the fluff, and we're going to come in and we're going to dub. I hope everybody knows how to dub in that fibers, come right straight down on the top, and you're going to create a little pillow. This pillow is going to create a platform, so when you lay this feather down, it's going to stay and hover right on the top. Otherwise, if you didn't put it there, your force or torque of the thread will force that feather to come around the backside, and you'll be frustrated. So you're going to leave still a little bit of that fluff on that feather, and we're going to lay it down right on top. And you want it to so that it extends slightly beyond the bucktail support. Come in, do a pinch move, one wrap, holds it in place. I didn't cinch it. One wrap just holds it right there in the pillow. Think of it this way. When you lay your head down on a pillow at night, if you have a pillow that's made from concrete, you're going to be rocking that head all over the place. But if you got a nice soft pillow, one that's made with a nice down, it's going to wrap and cradle your head. And that's what this is doing. It's cradling that stem of that feather. Okay, so that's the first feather. Next, we're going to grab some of this phenomenal grizzly. Again, I work with Ewing feathers, another plug. We have Cordeiro's flatwing feathers, and we do this burnt orange, which is really a classic color for us. The burnt orange grizzly is, it blends perfectly with that hot orange that we also do. So you grab something that's slightly about the same size from a length perspective, but also take something that has a little bit of a wider base, have it so that the grizzly and orange create that segregation that we see in the bloodworm. Again, I measure it up. I cut away where it transitions. Clear out some of the stems so you have a stem to hold on and pinch. You come across the top, size it up so that you can see where it's slightly longer than the previous feather. Now, if I was doing anything longer than this on a 1, say if I was doing a 1/0 or a 2/0, I would use a support feather. But where these are very short feathers, the bucktail is enough to support these. And we're not putting a lot of material in on the body itself. One other wrap, you're at your datum point, hangs right in there. Only 2 wraps so far. Then I grab some, you can choose, either use this nice copper colored, or you can go with the orange. Either one works. I don't think the stripers really distinguish between this and this. It's just a matter of what you, the fly tyer, like to fish with. Personally, either one works. So I'm going to choose today, I'm going to take only 4 fibers from here. Now, the reason is, you're probably saying, oh, why only 4, Joe? Well, because Krystal flash is round. What do round things like to do? Oh, they like to roll around. So less is best when it comes to dealing with rolling objects on your fly, because it will easily tangle. So 4 is the max, and I'm going to take this fine orange Krystal flash, and I'm going to take 4 pieces. It's easy enough to get 4 pieces off the top. Trim. And what I do is I basically take those 4 pieces and lay them right on the top. I don't mess around with the length just yet because we're going to trim it afterwards. I make sure that the ends are pretty much snugged up. I lay that 4 right on top. Again, do a pinch move. Lay it right down on top, and you can see that Krystal flash. Those 4 pieces are nice right on top. And then lastly, we take another of those hot burnt orange, and I lay it right on top. I cut and transition, lay it right on top. And you could see when you lay and layer it, do a pinch move, and you can see the variations of color coming through that orange grizzly and that burnt red, creating the illusion that bloodworm is swimming in the water column with the special colors, right? So now once I got those three all in place, they're sitting all on top. I've only done 4 wraps. I come in and I pinch right behind the pillow and I cinch down. Do not go forward or back, cinch down, come over the top and gather up all the material to right behind the eye of the hook. And then what I do is I tweak it towards me because you didn't really cinch it that hard. And I come behind the pillow with my fingers and I drive my thread all the way up and over the pillow, behind the pillow once, twice. Nice solid wrap. Not going anywhere. Okay, now this is where a little fun comes into play. So then I take some of this braid. Bill's Bodi-Braid is the best in my opinion, but there's a lot of manufacturers out there. But Bill Murphy creates this great, beautiful, strong braid because it has rayon in it as opposed to polyester. Much stronger. You can see it really strong. Cut a piece off, and then I grab 2 of from the burnt orange or the red right here. I'll grab something that has some thickness to it, webbiness to it, like this, that nice webbiness shape. I lay that down, and then I grab grab a grizzly that's got the wide webby shape. I'm going to create the body, and it's easily done by taking the 2 feathers and transition along with the fuzz, clean it out. Take the next one, right where it transitions from thick to thin, clean it out, marry the 2 together. You're holding the stem concave away from you, so you can see how it's convex and concave away. So it's away. You come in at a complete 90-degree angle to the thread, and you come in and cinch up. Come over, draw the thread down, pulling in that stem, and then come back, and the perpendicularity of the concave away will lay perfectly right the way you want it, so that when you start the palmer, the feathers over to create the body, it's already in the correct position. You don't have to fuss with it. It moves perfectly. Then I grab that. There it is. Then I grab the braid, and I come in underneath, right in front of the 2 hackles that I laid in for palmering, and I pull in 1 wrap, shorten it up, and I come in and I just haul in and get those to really cinch down so they're not going to go anywhere. And I come behind the eye of the hook, clean up a little bit of the mess so that's not exposed. And then I take the braid and I haul over once, twice, grab the feathers so that they will not roll on you, cinch down, up, and create a nice body. And this braid really holds all the material in place. Snap wrap behind the eye, clear out from underneath, make sure you don't cut your thread. Then I grab, already in place, I splay it out. Some people tend to want to take and cut just so that you don't lose the length. Come in and cut the tops so that they're even, right? So it doesn't matter. And then you splay it out. You can wet your fingertips. And then you just take your first wrap, holding the flatwing feathers that you previously laid, because you're going to go wrap the palmer right around in front of that pillow. Make sure everything is in the way. Pull it back. Palmer it forward. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to come in 3 wraps like I just did, and then segregate. So it's about 4 or 5 wraps going down the hook to right behind the eye of the hook. Snap rack, hold it in place, trim out the long hairs, wet your fingers. Usually I have a sponge, something ready to put my fingers in as opposed to my tongue, which is really disgusting, but it's okay. Then I pull back on the material and then I haul in to create a nice little head with that orange thread from Uni. That's a uni 3/0, very tight, very strong, doesn't break easily. And I find my whip finish, and there it is. Give it all whip finish and we should be done. But I'll show you a little trick that's very important. I do it once, and then I come in again twice, because I'm like the guy with the suspenders and the belt. I hate to lose my pants. Come in, trim underneath, and this is a little trick. I take it out of the vise. See how it's all fluffy up and it's create that nice illusion of that legs of the bloodworm, but I don't like it that fluffy. So all I do is I put my scissors down, and I just grab the head and I spin it down. Just roll it in your fingers. You'll feel the nick of that Ahrex hook. It's really sharp. They do a great job with the sharpness, chemically etching that thing. And you'll see I pull it back, and look what happens. I'll put it back in the vise so you can get a good picture. Lays right down nicely, right? That's it for this bloodworm. This is one of my go-to patterns in the spring when the worms are starting to do their thing in the estuary and the bass come in and suck down all these worms. Has that right motion. It has the motion with the lotion, and the worm just wiggle, gives it that body, that nice shape. You can thin it out. Remember, when you're on the water, you can't add material, but you can take material away. So if this is too fluffy and the worms aren't as fat, you can come in and just pluck out the fibers easily enough. Lay this thing down in the water. You will be very much happy with how it hooks up with striped bass. Fish it tight, fish it long, make sure it sinks, get it down in the water column, and please do not strip fast. Tight lines and big tugs, my friends.